Personality is the difference between a person playing video games and an entertainer who draws in a crowd. One thing you need to understand about Twitch, Mixer, and all the other streaming platforms out there is that it is about personality and it is about entertainment far, far, far more than it is about video games. If it was about video games, the people who would be succeeding are the people who are the most skilled at their game, and it would not matter a lick how entertaining someone is. Simply, the better your kill-death ratio or your win percentage, the more likely you would be to succeed. That is clearly not the case. Now, yes, a lot of successful people rise to the top, but rising to the top and staying at the top is very different than rising to the top and then headed back down to the bottom. So personality is going to be a key part of you becoming an entertainer. What's up? What's new? What is happening out there, YouTube? How is everybody doing today? My name is Aaron, aka Phelddy, and today I'm here to talk to you about personality. Now, one of the common pieces of advice that I've seen out there that seems to me to be absolute garbage is just be yourself. The reason why I think this is garbage is because we are boring as people. If you got into streaming because you like video games and you think that you want to try streaming them, the problem is playing video games is typically a solitary activity where you are staring at a screen intently. Now, if you are part of a team and you're communicating with them, that's great. But even then, the vast majority of your communication is intended towards your teammates as a strategic way to best enable you winning the game, rather than as something that is going to be entertaining for people to watch. It's going to be entertaining for you to play, and hopefully it's going to be entertaining for your teammates, but that's going to be it. So if you want to succeed on Twitch or Mixer or whatever other platform it is out there, you have to understand that playing video games is a way of entertaining yourself. But people coming to your stream and people sticking around to watch you stream are there because they want to be entertained. They don't want to watch you be entertained by a video game. They want to be entertained by you. Now, part of that is going to be you effectively playing your game of choice. If you are abysmal at your game and people don't like the way that you're bad at your game, people aren't going to stick around. So you do need to develop some skills there. But far more importantly, is you developing your skills as an entertainer. So the step one in that is developing your personality as an entertainer. For this, I've got 6 things for you to think about on your journey in developing your personality. So step 1 is going to be to learn to talk. The number one thing that will kill people is, the number one thing that will destroy a streamer's ability to grow and to develop a following is that they don't talk. If you come into a stream and someone is doing this, you're gonna leave because that is so incredibly boring. If you wanted to watch someone play a video game and do nothing else, you would just play that video game yourself. So, someone who's going to instead be in that, oh man, this is going to be amazing, we are going to get there, this is going to be exciting, Twitch, we are insanely excited because we are about to get number 2 in this match. And dear God, we're playing against like the number 3 ranked person in the world. So if we manage to come in second of a pool of 150 people against the number 3 ranked person, like how high is our rank there? Come on, Twitch, let's get there. Cheer me on for this. Let's get going. There's a huge difference between that first one and the second one. And learning to talk is going to automatically draw people in. Now, it obviously isn't enough to just sit there and read a dictionary, of course. You do need to have effective things to talk about, which is where the rest of these steps come in. But if you take nothing else from this, zero other things, learn to talk while you broadcast is going to elevate you immediately going to elevate you from anybody else who's just sitting there and playing video games. Number 2 in developing a personality is going to be leaning into things that you already do. So, are you someone who gets super excited about things and you just start like vibrating in excitement? It is amazing and this is going to be so exciting. Lean into that. Find those moments. Find things to be excited about and show that excitement. Don't tamp down on it. Don't apologize for it. Be excited and try to find as many situations as you can to be excited. Are you a rage gamer? Are you someone who gets frustrated when you lose and you are just going to rant for 4 solid minutes? Lean into that. Become the person who comes up with creative rants. Don't just sit there and complain about the game, but complain about the game in a way that people are going to agree or in a way that is going to be over the top and exciting. Don't smash controllers because that can get you in trouble. But seriously, like if you were to go from being someone who's just like, this stupid shuffler is broken, to someone who has actually got like a punching bag in your background, you're just like, this stupid game and I am just going to get up and just... Clearly, I have no idea how you punch a thing. But if you were someone who did that, who's leaning into your frustration, you have turned that into a benefit to yourself as a streamer. It's going to be something that is going to key in people's minds, and it's going to be a thing that you become known for. Similarly, if you are an emotional gamer, lean into games, lean into situations that are gonna bring out those emotions. Like play some tearjerker games and actually start crying on stream. Can you imagine if you are someone who gets super thoughtful, who is just like, ooh, I am going to like, what is the board gaming term? It is analysis paralysis. If you're someone who's like, ooh, there are 4 different options on how to talk to this. Okay, we are role-playing this character, and I want to think about this, but okay. So option 1, I mean, I've been playing this character, I want him to be a paladin, like the goody two-shoes of the game, but he was just in a brawl fight, and he just had a mug of ale smashed over his head, so he's probably not going to go for the romantic side of things, because he's probably got a concussion, and likely he smells a little bit of beer, and he's just a little bit, has his blood running a little hot, so we're not going to go with the romantic option, we're definitely not going to go with the evil option, because that's outside of him, but, so option B, option C, option B, option C, option B, option C, let's option B it. Let's see how that goes for us. Lean into that somewhat indecisive nature and talk through it and figure out how, take what way that you are already, sorry, I am worked up as part of that. Take that way that you are indecisive and lean into it. Make that more of who you are. Number 3, develop things to talk about. So one problem that we have as gamers is that gaming is typically our hobby, and we've taken our hobby and we've tried to expand upon it into, as myself, I've gone from a person who plays Magic the Gathering to someone who streams Magic the Gathering. So I'm able to talk at length about Magic the Gathering, but if all I'm doing is talking about Magic the Gathering, I become that guy who plays Magic and that guy who talks Magic. And I need to start finding some other things to talk about. So come up with a list of things that you like to talk about. Do you like to talk about politics? Well, write that down on your list and be that person who can occasionally bring up politics. Do you like to talk about food? Do you like to talk about cars? Do you like to talk about the weather, but not like actually talk about the weather like, oh, isn't it a rainy day out there? But more like that crazy like, oh man, it looks like those thunderheads are forming on the distance and they are this type of thunderclad, which means that there is this sort of percentage, and you become an amateur meteorologist. Did I call it amateur? I think I just did. Amateur meteorologist, or whatever things that you find you are excited to talk about when you get together with your friends. Write those things down and bring them out. If you are someone who likes to talk about these things already, showing excitement about something, showing interest in having things you want to talk about is going to resonate with people. Even if someone doesn't care about the topic, you're more likely to get people who are at least passively interested, or people who just want to know you more as a streamer. Number 4. And number 4 is very similar to number 3. And number 5 is going to be similar to 4. And number 6 is going to be similar to 5. Because we are building rather than taking a bunch of disparate elements and shoving them all into the meat suit that is you as a streamer. So, develop some other hobbies. So similar to number 3, where you're developing other things to talk about, number 4 is going to be developing some outside interests. Things that are not just video games. Do you play Fortnite? Fantastic. But you should probably play Fortnite and cook, or go and start playing some volleyball, or hitting the gym, or reading, or listening to podcasts, or watching the world's weirdest YouTube videos, or developing anything, and preferably 2 or 3 things, but developing anything outside your primary hobby is going to give you another thing that you can talk about and another thing you understand with. One thing that is going to come up for you almost immediately after you start doing this is you're going to find if you can talk about one thing, you can engage with people on one level, and you can engage with people who like that one thing. If you can talk about 3 things, you can engage with person A on one thing, person B on second thing, and person C on a third thing. And you may actually start finding that people get raided over to you from your friends' games or other games or any other way of that who don't actually care about the game that you are playing, but because you have another thing they might be interested in, they are willing to stick around with you. And it is opens up a huge world for you as a streamer if suddenly you can pull more than just Fortnite people who want to watch Fortnite into your stream. If you can bring in amateur meteorologists, people who watch Fortnite, and people who believe that punching a punching bag when you are frustrated and getting into those exciting things and suggesting new things that you should put on your punching bag each time you punch it, suddenly you've got so many more elements that you can bring together, and you've gotten yourself a much more entertaining stream as a result. Which, if you go back to my initial point, you become an entertainer as a result of developing this personality. Number 5, incorporate your hobbies into your stream. And this is going to be a very natural progression. So, did you decide you wanted to start cooking as your next hobby? Well, now you should start incorporating things into your stream or into your stream associated elements like your Twitter or your Instagram or your YouTube or your TikTok or any of those things, and start adding those elements in instead, again, of being just a Fortnite streamer. For going back to that example, you were that Fortnite streamer who is also talking about the cool things that he is making for dinner, and if I lose, I'm going to have a consolation meal tonight, and if I win, I'm going to have a victory meal. And here are the 2 different things that I could turn these ingredients into. Am I going to have sad fish and chips, or am I going to have happy fish and chips after this game? Tune into my Twitter and let me show you what sad fish and chips looks like and happy fish and chips looks like, and which one you are more excited to see. Or if you decide Star Wars is that hobby that you want to expand upon, start incorporating some Star Wars things into your background. From something as simple as getting yourself a whiteboard and writing up your favorite phrases there and changing that each game, to getting yourself a lightsaber in the background that you pick up and play with occasionally, to even just incorporating like a Darth Vader sound effect into your stream. You're bringing your hobbies, which are part of you, into their stream, which is going to make you feel much more than a robot who plays Fortnite. Now you are a person who plays Fortnite and super loves Star Wars and does cool things and makes fish and chips. to riff off those examples. And finally, step number 6 is going to be develop in-jokes and stream-related things with your community. So another thing that's going to help your personality is those little quirks that you do. Do you tell a specific sort of joke? Do you do a specific sort of action? So this is things that you can approach 2 ways. You can go the organic way, or you can try to experiment with it. The organic way is going to be, do you find yourself muttering certain things when you lose, or doing certain things when you win? If you find that every so often you're just like, that is exhausting. Well, you should lean again into that. You should go from that to like, that was exhausting. Or if you like fist bump into the air when you win, you should go from just like that occasional fist bump to like, boom! Oh, we just broke through our screen, guys. We're gonna go have to change out our screen, so let me be right back. Maybe you change your screen border after this point. Or maybe you get fired up and you decide to like go fire face with a face mask or something of that nature. Or if you were a punster, maybe you should incorporate a pun. You should start leaning into those puns and incorporating some puns in the background, or keep a pun counter for people for all those times that you pun. Or maybe every time you punt in a game, you should say a pun. So that is going to be sort of that, if you do this thing, recognize that you do this thing, and this is going to come from reviewing things and just consciously kind of realizing that you have done the same thing over and over. Or the experimental way of doing it is to look at what other people are doing and try those things. And if it feels weird, don't do it. But if it feels kind of fun, or if it was entertaining, maybe try working off that and see if you can refine it, and seeing if you can take the way that is sort of you into that initial element. So if you aren't someone who's excited about a game, but you see someone do real cool things when they win, maybe you should just try that cool thing. Maybe you should just like, let's try fist bumping when we win, and it doesn't go weird, and it goes a little weird, but the awkwardness is something that people like. So you go like, let's fist bump, or something weird with a silly voice. Or you're just like, I don't know, I like it when people do a victory celebration, so I don't know, today we're just gonna grab that lightsaber and we're just going to, yeah! Or however you hold a lightsaber. I have zero clue on how you do that, clearly. I don't know. Taking that pun example like I talked about and leaning into that and writing your puns, or developing yourself a list of jokes and try like 7 different styles of jokes and try telling jokes in any dead downtime and seeing if any of those jokes feel good to you or resonate well with the crowd of people that you have. You're trying different things and sort of just like, I don't know, I'll try A and B and C and D and E and F and G, and it looks like D and G actually kind of worked with what I want to be doing and what I enjoy, so let's try doing a little bit more of D and G, and maybe we'll add an O, and eventually somewhere in the middle of the OGD, because that's clearly, when you have the letters D, O, and G, what you're going to spell. The ODG example from... and we are ODG Gaming, and we are going to do these fun, cool, interesting things. No dogs allowed. I don't know, anything silly around that sort of stuff. Now, this is simply a starting point on your personality, and how everybody takes these elements and starts to form who their core is all going to be a different journey. But start incorporating a couple of these things in, and once you've gotten into them, it's going to be a matter of continual refinement. Maybe a specific type of joke isn't for you. Maybe it is. Don't be afraid to add in new elements. Don't be afraid to discard an element if it's no longer relevant to you. Maybe you started as someone who cooks their food all the time, but you found as you've gotten to be a more successful streamer that you have less time to devote to food, and maybe you need to pull that element out of who really you are. All right. This has been super fun talking to you guys, and I'm really excited to see your guys' personality development journeys. So, sound off in the comments below. Tell me a little bit about your personalities and what you are looking to incorporate into your personality. It is going to be so exciting to join you guys in your journey as you grow as streamers. It's going to be so exciting to join you guys as you grow and develop as streamers. If you have any questions regarding this and how to incorporate your hobbies, please send me a message, hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, or come drop by my Twitch channel. I stream Sundays through to Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully I can see you guys there. Otherwise, happy streaming. We'll see you in the future.